Hey there. So I've been thinking, like, how come nobody really talks about the predatory nature of the narcissist? I'm not about living in a victim mentality or mindset. I just don't think you can heal from that stance. But the narcissist drags you through a series of psychological breakdown and rebuild that does make you a victim. And you really can't see it until you're at the end of it because it is such a smooth process. And there are narcissists out there that are unconscious narcissists. So they're just pushing people away. They're denying people's reality. They're gaslighting only because their trauma, and they probably had a narcissistic parent, right? So their trauma is creating these behaviors, and it's still narcissism, but it's unconscious. They're not like deliberately doing this. But there's another layer of narcissists who they know 100% what they are doing. And either way, it plays out in this very interesting, it is a breakdown and buildup of the psychology. All right, so my neighbor is now doing yard work, so let's talk about this over here. So there's whether they're doing it consciously or unconsciously, it all kind of plays out the same. So they start testing your boundaries immediately. That's the first thing that they're gonna do, because your boundaries and your lack of boundaries is how they weave into your life. So they start with testing your boundaries, and then they start love bombing you, right? So now they have you in a position where you're like, they know you have low boundaries, and now you're like becoming emotionally attached. Why? Because you're trauma bonding to them. They're telling you a bunch of stuff, but they don't have the receipts to really back this up. And a lot of us fall for this because it's a mind duck, if you will. So they're breaking you down. They're weakening your will so that they can later come in and manipulate you in different ways. So once they have your walls down a little bit, you're a little more vulnerable, and you're liking this person, right? You're like, oh my gosh, like this person seems so incredible. I can't believe I finally met this person. And they start saying things to you like, you're my soulmate. We've done this in other lifetimes. Like all of this stuff that sounds so beautiful and amazing. And now that you're a little vulnerable, you're going to start spilling your tea. Oh, what was your relationship like with your mom or your dad? Oh, dad walked out on you? Okay, now they know that that's an in. They're going to eat off of your parent trauma, right? You didn't get enough love from your mom. They're going to use that later on too. So now you're in a situation with somebody that now has fodder to continue to manipulate you. And it's all so smooth, right? Because your emotions are dysregulated because you're back in your trauma. They are feeding your trauma. So they find the pieces that you need. Oh, you didn't get loved by your mommy and daddy, so now they are loving on you. And you are emotionally attached to the things. You're getting the things that you think that you need, that little inner child really wants. And this is how they get in. So they're going to go through the cycle of all the lovey-dovey stuff, and then they're going to start pulling away. They're also going to start giving you backhanded compliments and things where you almost hit the mark, right? So they're going to use that people pleaser piece where you want to make somebody happy, and a little bit at a time, they're going to break. Now you just want to please this person, though they might be acting crazy. You're gonna allow that, and at some point it's almost like Stockholm syndrome light, right? Because at some point they might even be treating you really poorly, and then they're mad at you because you are upset with them, and at the end of all of it you find yourself apologizing for the crap that they did, because empath ends up with it is 100% part of their plan. And they will just throw you away, because for them it isn't about finding a relationship and deep love. It is about watching it manipulate and watching it play into the interconnectedness of you guys. So there are certain things that you have to do in order to stop being part of this cycle. And number one, you have to keep your emotions regulated. This is where they play you, because you're emotionally wrapped up into something that doesn't actually exist. So, number one, you have to keep yourself emotionally intact. You don't listen to the butterflies. How's that? The butterflies are lying to you. Number two, you have to set boundaries, because your boundaries are what are open and allowing them in. So I'm telling you, if you just have a 90-day no physical contact, you're going to weed out a lot of the narcissists. Why? Because they're not willing to do those relationship building things for the future. They're not there for that. They're not there to build a relationship. They're there to manipulate. And if they can't manipulate, they will just move on. So that's a big one. And it is a really hard thing to do. Like 90 days, no physical touch. I mean, that means no hugging either. And that is because you don't want your nervous system, you don't want your body trauma bonding to these people. That's how they get you. They wrap you in. They know when you're in. And then they start treating you like crap. So number one, keep your emotions together. Number two, don't allow your body to lie and make you think that you're more attached to them. And man, it's so much easier to let a lot of stuff slide when they're throwing it down good in the bedroom. So leave that out. If you can really leave that out for 90 days, you're gonna weed out so many issues. And number three, you have to heal those trauma pieces that they are using against you. It's that fear of rejection, right? They're going to tell you like, okay, well, you're mad at me and I don't like what's happening here, so I'm going to leave. So they're going to trigger those abandonment and those rejection pieces just to reel you back in. And that's how they get you into the position where you're arguing their point. You're like, yeah, I'm so sorry that you're treating me like this. Like it is such a manipulative situation. And it's hard to think that there are people out there that are really just trying to manipulate. And this is the problem with the narcissist. This is why people are just like, I don't trust men. I don't trust myself in a relationship, because we're being sideswiped. They're not walking up and being like, hey, I just want to play mind games with you. No, that's not how it works. You are the mind game. You are in it. So you really have to heal those pieces that allows them to trigger you. The abandonment, the rejection, the people pleasing, the lack of boundaries, all of that stuff is how they are getting in. And when you're no longer triggerable, they can't mess with you and they just move on. So this is where I come in, and I would love to help you work through these problems, because I am Connie Lynn Parker. I'm your spiritual life coach and life alchemist, and I say let's heal that crap. In order to do that, you got to speak your truth, live in the magic of life, and of course, spread the love. I love you.